Let me make my water real quick, and we'll get this show on the road. This is why I give us a little bit more time. Upward sniper. Yeah. Okay, and then like I said, I'm gonna upload, stream, and broadcast or whatever to YouTube. So if people can't be here and they still need their review, they can watch it. They'll just ask me questions in DMs, things like that. But for the most part, Caps, I don't know if you're still here or not. I think as long as you get like a map review of like how to play maps. No, you didn't. Like, I'm still here. You missed the fun part of the stream with music and stuff. I have a YouTube, but I don't upload to it. I should start actually uploading. The biggest thing for like between like newcomer and I would say, and even like main, to be honest, it's more so just making sure that you're practicing like point and clicking. I don't have anything uploaded to it, I'm pretty sure. Let me check though. I actually know what account I'm on. I used to have a super old channel. Yeah, I have nothing uploaded. I have a super old account here. It's under my actual name. This is it says like 6 uploads and they're super old, but that's not where this one will be going. This one will be going to a different YouTube channel, which I might monitor. But what I mean is, when you're an up and coming sniper and you're playing the game and you're practicing, it's more important for you to put yourself in bad spots, which is why like on maps like Harvest, you often see me just holding down the W key and like trying to point blank stuff and trying to kill people that would never expect the sniper to be there, because like anyone can sit nice and comfy on top of like roof on Harvest or on Upward and just like shoot people as they're like walking in straight lines. But when you have to rely on your aim to get you out of bad spots, it's when you're gonna see the most improvement. And most snipers that I've talked to is they agree with that. Is HT good for that or not? I don't know what HT is. What is HT? The sniper? I don't know what HT is. Oh, high tower? High tower. So the map doesn't matter. The only reason I like Harvest is just simply because Skyle is instant respawn. It's 32 people, and Harvest is a pretty good sniper map with like hallways and stuff to where you're not like needing to like correct a ton. So you can kind of practice everything on Harvest. But it's more important for you just to like play the game on sniper and just practice. And you don't have to grind multiple hours per day. I'd say as long as you can get in 45 minutes to an hour of grinding per day, where you're just kind of playing sniper class and just running into things and shooting, like you'll improve much quicker. There's diminishing returns to grinding. Grinding doesn't always mean like you're gonna get the best. But alright, let's go ahead and start this. Actually, turn on some uncopyrighted or copyright free music off YouTube. It feels weird not having like literally anything going. Alright, if that's too loud, it shouldn't be. My voice should be much louder than the little bit of tunes that we have. But yeah, alright, so let's get started. So, yeah, just lo-fi beats. Alright, so Upward, we'll start on first. I don't know if it's better for people to go point by point or go side by side. I usually go point by point because I think that a lot of the points between offense and defense have a lot of points to make about them. So like where I'm talking about offense, I'm also gonna be talking about defense. So, alright, let's start on here though. Let me switch teams. We'll run through this. Upward first is kind of, I think a lot of people play this point wrong, in my opinion. I think a lot of snipers will sit on staircase and like wait for sniper to peek. And I'll let you guys know like why this is pretty bad and like why you shouldn't do this, I think. In my opinion, you have one of two plays on first. At least in like the first like 20-30 seconds. I like going here personally, because usually there's like a jumping soldier here that you can get a free kill on. If he's just jumping up and down, you can hide behind the door and then slowly walk out and usually get a kill on him. He's going to be spamming this right side in case your soldier's trying to go out for a fast bomb. The other play that I think is the better play is that you come out here quick with your team and you actually just like look for the SVS straight away. The reason I don't think that sitting in the stairs is very good because of what I'm going to tell you on first defense, which is to void the SVS when you're on defense. So let's say your team, like you know that your team is going to go for a sack. In my opinion, you could just like feel free to run it down or just try and shoot whatever they're going to do damage to when they're sacking, whether that's NG, whether that's demo, whatever your team's goal is. So I usually just come out with my team full steam ahead. And the important thing is, if you are going to kind of run it down, is that you die with your team. That you don't bait here. So for example, let's say your team is sacking, but you're playing like rocks or like anywhere else, and then everyone dies, and now you like slowly walk up trying to do damage, and then you die, but you stagger your timer. So like your demo soldier and like your other sacking classes will be on like a 12-second respawn, and then they'll go down to like a 4-second, and then you'll die, and then it's like 12 seconds again. So you kind of screw your team over because you're really, really important to hold the playground angle while your team is trying to go up for an Uber exchange. You have to kind of be looking to take the SVS here when your team is getting ready to Uber. So you need to make sure that you're either one, full sending it and committing, or two, you're staying alive. It's fine to stay alive. If you just want to play back here, or you know maybe you walk up here and then like they all die and obviously nothing's happening, then you just turn and run, that's fine. But you need to make sure that you make one of the two choices. Don't stagger. After you get up to a hill and your team is taking the Uber exchange, depends kind of what your team wants to do. Most teams, I think, play over the top of this hill here on the left. We call this bones. It's important that you just kind of play around your team and play around your medic. You need to make sure that if you are going to kind of start walking up here and hardscoping this angle, that you are being protected, whether it's heavy or pyro. You need to have someone dedicated to protecting you. One, soldier spam. If the soldier's playing up here, he's going to be spamming you the whole time. But two, obviously, like, if your team full rotates or starts pushing and you don't have anyone with you, you're just going to get stabbed. And then if you get stabbed, sniper can recommit from the top of hill. Or even from the bottom of hill and start killing you guys. So, make sure that wherever you're going to be taking angles from, that you have someone watching you. Playing this angle is fine too. Just know that the only people that you are going to be kind of looking at here are going to be like pyro, demo, maybe sniper if he decides to peek you, but that's kind of going to be it. You can get a little bit more aggressive. Generally, a lot of teams start working their sniper to the right actually nowadays, at least in high invite. The reason is because they kind of just sticky spam and everyone shoots at the sniper. Well, one thing that a lot of people don't realize is that not a lot of classes on first have kill threat. What I mean by that is your demo is never going to, like, your blue demo here should never die unless he one gets stabbed or two gets sniped. The other demo does not have kill threat, or the scout doesn't have kill threat, or the soldier doesn't have kill threat. So most people, what they do is they actually start taking playground. So if your team is going to start doing kind of the right side strat, just know that you're going to be working around here. And then be careful of a couple cheeky angles. If sniper backs up, you can definitely get shot in this box here. So be careful of this angle here. While your team pressures playground and like you're swinging on the demo and stuff. So that's kind of upward first. Or at least for offense side. On defense, one thing about offense real quick. I really, really don't like going house. I think going house is really, really bad. You isolate yourself from your team, and even if you put somebody up here with you, the angles aren't particularly great. Like, the only thing that you're going to be doing, like, while you're up here is you're going to be free from spam, but now you're isolated. And if you send somebody to, like, watch your back while you're playing up here, you're pulling people out of, like, the Uber exchange and people moving forward. But also, like, you're never gonna get a buff up here. So it's not, I don't really like ever playing house. I may do it, like, a little bit, like, if I know that sniper's peeking, like, a certain angle, I might peek, like, on this, like, low side. But honestly, like, I never come house anymore. It's just not worth it in my opinion. But yeah, that's upward first for offense. On defense, and this is the reason why I think a lot of snipers play this point wrong. Let's say, for example, the defensive sniper is playing on the staircase. You should never be peeking where the sniper is, unless you, for sure, have some sort of, like, pressure from soldier, from your spy, from scout, something. or you're like full blown like 185. It just doesn't make sense for the defensive player with the 12 to 16 second respawn to be peeking stuff for a kill that does not matter. If you kill the sniper, the only thing that's gonna happen is like you can swing out far and like start peeking deep. But even that doesn't really matter. You don't really get a big advantage on that, off of that on defense. So wherever, basically on first defense, you're going to be listening to your spy a lot. You're going to be asking where sniper is, you're going to be asking for calls, you're going to be asking for buffs, things like that. One angle, so a couple things that you can do. I'll start here. You can play, generally I just jump up and play behind here. I've started to play up on top of here, just a little jump up and crouch. The reason I like playing up here now is because I can see demos or soldiers or heavies or whatever the heck likes to come out right, and you can actually see pretty deep. Like, just for example, like you can see kind of like, I can almost see the ground. So like I'm at headshot angle. And that'll catch people off by surprise. Plus, you're pretty safe up here. Right? Like if you play like on playground or whatever and you're like hiding from sniper, you might get bombed and die. So I started playing up here a little bit more. It's just totally up to your preference. You can do a couple like cheeky things where you like roll out far right. Like try to kill sniper here, or I don't know, I forget. Oh, I like playing the tracks angle sometimes, where you peek behind. Peek here if he's main. But it's not all that great. But yeah, basically you want to be using these two pieces of metal to shield yourself from the sniper, and you just want to kill everyone else. You just want to kill everyone else, and when sniper dies, you want to like let your team know that like you're swinging. Like get your team kind of excited that like their sniper's dead and that you guys can start being more aggressive. Because as soon as you get more aggro, as soon as you get more aggro, your team starts feeling more confident, and then they start walking forward too. So it's kind of just like a morale boost. What's the worst thing a pyro can do to you as sniper on upward? Just constantly on fire. Like when you guys are on offense and you see sniper standing tall on playground here, you should just be spamming dead at him. You need to have your entire team shooting him, including demo, including soldier, pyro, scout. Like literally, the only class that matters on upward first is making sure that the sniper is pressured. Nothing else really matters. That's about it. Okay, so that's kind of first. Obviously, during Uber exchanges, you want to be playing kind of safe. So whether that's like backing up here and kind of waiting, and then like retaking. The biggest thing is, like I said, make sure that you're listening to where sniper is. And then if you like, you might get forced into taking the SVS, and if you do, just make sure that you take the SVS well. You ask for like very clear comms on like where he is. So, for example, a lot of people will call like he's right rocks or something. Okay, well, which rock is he? Is he at the close rock? Is he at the mid rock? Is he at the far rock? Telling your team that you need clear comms on where sniper is very, very critical to how you're going to pre-aim, right? If I know that sniper's on the back rock, I'm going to pre-aim like way up here, or I'm going to pre-aim here. But if I know that sniper's at like, the first rock, like I'm going to be pre-aiming a different angle. So it's very, very important. And also make sure that you guys are buffed before you take SVSs. Sometimes you might not have to be able to like shoot at things because your medic has like has to heal other people, but it's very, very crucial that you wait for buffs. The Glorpo spot? What's the Glorpo spot? The spot that I do? This one? I don't know the Glorpo spot, but I don't know. This one. Okay. I don't know the Glorpo spot. Alright, let's talk about second now. Let's go back to offense. So second offense is kind of a pain. It kind of depends on where their team is. If their team gets set up on second, it's kind of going to be pain. Basically, the best thing that I can tell you is that you need to coordinate with your team. You guys need to be getting whips. Your medic has to kind of tank you, and then people just kind of have to 3-2-1 swing. Because if sniper is in apartments, for example, like you just need people in front of you. You cannot be the first person here and just try to solo the SVS. It's not gonna work. So you need to get whips and you need to get people to jump across, so that way sniper has other things to shoot at. So he has to kind of either be super, super disciplined, or he's gonna like waste a shot and then you get the advantage. And again, this is what I mean by telling your team that like clear comms matter. Because if your team calls snipers on rocks, it doesn't tell me, is he on mid rocks? Is he on top of the mid rock? Is he, you know, over here on the right rock? Is he on top of the right rock? Like all of these comms matter a ton for if your team wants to find success through your sniper. So obviously when you're coming up, you just want to make sure that you're clearing angles. So clear here, clear here, clear this mid-rock, which is around this area somewhere, clear apartments, stuff like that. And then your team swings, and then you guys generally will take this ground, and then you're gonna have to look for SVSs probably. He's probably gonna challenge you here, or challenge you here. Once Sniper's dead, the point becomes much, much easier. But the hardest part is like, when your team is going to Uber forward, once you guys take like minecart and take ground, that you need to make sure that you have somebody kind of with you. Because as your team goes forward, the spy is generally going to be decloaking behind this rock or decloaking behind you and is just going to pinch on you guys. So you need to make sure that you have someone kind of like watching your back, or you yourself are watching your back, and whether you're no-scoping him or running at him. Most teams don't really do tunnel pushes. Tunnel's not a bad thing to experiment if your team is struggling. If you guys are going to do tunnel pushes, you can come down here and try to help with the NG or stuff that's going to be running across tracks. Or the other play is, if you guys are going to be tunnel Ubering, is that you just come uphill super, super late. What I mean by that is, like, you guys are just, like, they're going to Uber through side tunnels, there's going to be, like, an Uber exchange, somebody's going to call for posts, and then you, like, start working your way up. Generally, you'll have, like, an engineer with you. After you guys push them back, and you guys take all of this ground up to apartments, like, draw a straight line across, and you guys have all this, your next job is going to be making sure that they can't repush from tracks. So, whether you're playing... actually, you wouldn't be over here. But, it's like, let's say your team's in apartments, you're going to be, like, looking to, like, shoot here. You need to hold the tracks. Teams generally won't recommit through this close angle. Better teams will always recommit through tracks, because it's just safer. So, this is probably where you're going to want to be pre-aiming, but you're going to want to make sure that you have somebody, again, watching your back as you're kind of holding here. And then you're, at this point, you're just kind of waiting for cart time. If you want, you can play up here and play this apartments angle. And just pre-aim around the height of this ledge right here. You can get cheeky if you want, and, you know, go B house, or go down, like, the cliff angle, and actually hold them from back here, but again, you're kind of isolated from your team. You're really, really far forward. But that's about it for second offense, I think. It's really just making sure that your team is taking hill, like, correctly. You're, like, everyone's getting buffs, everyone's getting whips, everyone's swinging first. And the best way, in case your team doesn't know the best way to swing, your team should not swing here. Your team should walk close and then swing. You should walk close to this fence with, like, demo heavy soldier, and you guys should swing here rather than swinging here. Because if you can see, like, I'm gonna see everyone at, like, this point, right? But if you get to here, you don't see them until you're way closer, and then, like, the minecart's just, like, up here. So Sniper's not gonna be able to kind of rattle off shots. A lot of people, I think, take this hill really, really wrong. Where they swing out here, Sniper takes one shot, he can take a second shot, he can almost even take a third shot if he's good enough. So, just make sure that your team is swinging on the hill properly. Alright, second defense. So, let's assume that your team got out of first, and you guys actually are going to have a second hold. It's very, very, very important that your team gets out of first alive, and generally has traded Ubers. Second is a much, much stronger hold than first ever will be. So, people will more likely hold you, or hard hold you on second than on first. So, making sure that you as a sniper get out alive, or that you're on respawn and, like, you respawn just as soon as they're setting up their hold. Here is kind of just, like, all on you. You're gonna have to kind of be tanked, and you're gonna want to listen to your spy that's most likely gonna be on Cloak and Dagger. And you're gonna have to just kind of take, like, an SVS, whether you're playing the rock, whether you're playing here. I really don't like playing up here, actually, on the platform, because I think that your head level doesn't change. If it changes at all, it only changes side to side. Whereas if you play on the staircase, now you're changing side to side, and you can back up. So you're forcing them to make a diagonal shot, which is much, much harder than hitting something that's just straight left to right, straight horizontal. So make sure that if you are going to kind of play around here, that in my opinion, your better bet is to play the stairs. Or you can play on top of, like, this, like, little lip right here, and this is fine too. I will generally start off on top of rock, and then wait for my spy to give me calls on, like, when sniper's peeking. So, like, my spy will be calling, like, sniper's peeking with buff, or sniper's walking now, or sniper scoped in walking, something like that. Generally, you can win the SVS because this point is very, very difficult for the offensive sniper to win the SVS. And then when that happens, I will start changing up kind of where I play, and I'll start getting a little bit more aggro, whether that's playing up on top of the rock, whether that's playing here, kind of mixing it up. You need to make sure that you're listening for sniper calls, because a lot of times, sniper will often go here and push out. I meant to mention this too, but I forgot about this side. When you're on offense, sniper can also just walk out here. And generally, a lot of people don't check this and might be able to kill you if you're posting. So make sure that you're listening to sniper calls when you're on offense, or when you're on defense. And going the left side cliff here is not a bad thing. You can generally walk out and kill something, whether it's demo, even sometimes medic if they're really, really pushed up. After you get pushed off, let's say they successfully took hill and you guys had to fall back. I really don't like going for this angle because I think it's really, really hard to win. This minecart has kind of a shitty hitbox, and some of these rocks do too. So I value my life here, and I usually just run away. If my team wants to recommit, we always recommit from tracks where I get buffed and people start swinging in front of me. So you're going to check apartments, you're going to check all the other cheeky angles we can get killed from. So, might be able to delay card a little bit, but generally if you get pushed off of the hill on second, it's kind of almost a guaranteed cap for them, unless they really, really fuck up. But that's kind of it for second, I think. Let's talk about third offense. So there's two kind of main strategies for third offense. It's generally like when you talk about like combo. Combo will either like to like kind of sit in house and then start to work their way uphill, or the other strat that a lot of people have started doing, at least in the last couple 2, 3, 4 seasons, is a lot of teams have started pushing tracks. If a lot of teams push tracks, you have to come with them, because if you try playing in your house, you're gonna get stabbed, you're gonna get revolvered in the back, but also soldiers might also be flanking through here if your team is not watching it. Generally, you should have a soldier, defense or offensive soldier, be like kind of holding here, so the soldier can't just walk in. But you need to kind of help your cart. The whole point of the tracks pushing strat is that you're giving your cart pushers some protection. You're giving them heals, and also your demo is going to be sitting here spamming pipes and spamming stickies. So you're kind of going to be doing the same thing. You're just looking to protect your cart pushers while they push cart up. And then from there, you guys might Uber like up through this side. So it's really important that you know what your combo's doing. The default is that like most people will come in here and like look to take a shot or SVS here. But like I said, if your combo's not playing in house, don't play house. Make sure that you're kind of playing like the protection sniper where you overlook tracks. If your team is the kind of team that does play house, I mean it's fine, it's just gonna be a little bit harder. Couple things. Obviously everyone knows that you can go for kind of this SVS where you're holding here and waiting for him. I like to kind of play like a super, super tight angle. Something like this. Oh fuck this guy. Hold on. Gotta ban him. Goodbye. Hold on, bye followers. You know, this is kind of the standard way where you like peek out with a buff. The other way is you can kind of go for a drop shot where you kind of surprise him. You kind of are already pre-aiming him, but you drop down if he is peeking aggressively. The other thing that you can do too is that you can come up top and then play here. And now you're going to make sure that you're peeking from the right side. So when you're on defense, most snipers will pre-aim here. But if you walk up the stairs, drop down, and now you peek out from the left side, you peek left to right from the defensive point of view, and you peek out from right to left on the offensive point of view, it might throw him for a loop, and he might not actually expect it, or he might not even be in his scope because of the black rings that are around it. So, just kind of another option. Also, playing balcony is really, really strong, or catwalk, or whatever people call this. You can hold a shot and pre-aim the soldier that might walk out here. Generally, you can react. If soldier walks out, you can snap to him. Also, heavy that peeks bucket is an incredibly important kill. Sniper, in general, is one of 2 classes that can instantly delete a heavy from the game. The other one only being spy. So if you kill something with 450 health, that means that your scout doesn't have to use up their whole scattergun, or your demo doesn't have to use up 4 pills and however many stickies to kill him. So a rule as sniper is I generally always prioritize the healthier targets, whether that's soldier, whether that's heavy, demo. Obviously shooting demo, sniper are always super, super important, but if you can instantly delete a class that has 450 health, it's super, super good for your team. Once your team starts getting ready and they start walking up, you can start taking more aggressive angles, where you can even hold this corner. I will always calm that I'm holding this corner to let my team know, like, what I'm watching. I'll say, like, I'm watching the corner, I'm watching, like, the tracks corner, something like that. Just because it lets your team know that until you call something, that there's nothing pushing or nothing peeking, right? So then they can focus on bucket. Obviously, the other angle that you can do is play from tracks. Most snipers will look to take an SVS from you, so be kind of careful. Kind of gonna have to figure out your own way of how you want to peek stuff like this. But you're gonna, if you do come tracks, you will look for SVS, 100%. The last thing I have to say about upward third is just don't be afraid to go for like plays on this point. Don't hinder yourself into like a play style of, you know, not being aggressive. What I mean by that is, if you see an opening, for example, if card's kind of far back and you kind of see an opening for a point, and your team does not have Uber or is not close to building, because if your team is close to building, you want to be staying alive, because you need to be alive for the post Uber. But don't be afraid to go for like the god shot, you know, like walk up here. Medics love to just sit AFK in this fucking dispenser that's right here. So, you know, just go bop them in the head. Or, you know, you can even get a little bit greedy and you can walk up. Maybe you kill a heavy. If you kill heavy that's peeking bucket. Or, you know, if they're like kind of far back, maybe you can kill the medic here. Or like kill them as they're backing out. You kill sniper. Just don't be afraid to use the side house or the shit house, as most people call it, to your advantage and like to kind of throw people for a loop. Kind of doing the same thing over and over and never going for plays kind of makes you really, really stagnant as a player. And also, when you do go for plays like this and you hit them, like an incredible morale boost for your team. Because it's like, holy shit, if you guys, if you drop the medic here, you guys cap third, now maybe you don't even have to Uber until last, and you kind of just like won your team the point. So, don't be afraid just to go for stuff. Alright, that's third offense. Let's go over defense. Let's say they just cap second. You can go for aggro snipes. You know, peek tracks. Just be careful with spy. Make sure that you have somebody with you. Generally, pyro is pretty safe to come here. But if you're peeking here and you're like, you're hard scoped the whole time, there's a good chance that you're gonna get stabbed because spy will be ahead of his team. What I've really like started to do is I like to play this kind of this metal angle around bucket when I know that card is getting ready to cross here, and also in combination with teams that started to do the track pushing strat. I started playing bucket a lot more because if the enemy team is going to be pushing from tracks, you don't really have a great angle if you want to play passive, right? So I've started playing much more aggressive. And if you play here, spy can just decloak. Spy decloaks here, runs at you, and your team can't really protect you. It's a pass. So it doesn't really make sense for you to kind of put yourself in like a really, really bad spot to where one, you're isolated, and two, it's like a super, super great spy decloak angle. Spy decloaks, walks out, stabs you, and then once sniper goes down on third defense, the point becomes incredibly hard to win, or to hold from the defensive point of view. So I started playing a lot around bucket. When I get a call that sniper's in house, I never peek this angle anymore. I will only peek this angle on one condition, and if I coordinate with somebody, and we swing the angle together. So usually me and Pyro or me and Demo, we will call like 3, 2, 1 swing, and then we'll start swinging together once we're both overhealed. But once I know that sniper's in house, there's no reason for you to peek him. Sure, I mean he can lock down the whole angle, but your Demo can also just walk up here now, and he can also just watch the valley for like the same thing. Your Demo doesn't need to play here, or like even here, for example. Demo can just hug the wall, walk forward, and now you can play far back, and you can just hold this angle. Only reason I'm crouching is because if there's kind of a funky angle here, where you can actually get like headshot. If you play on DX9, there's gonna be a bush here, so I'd recommend playing on DX8. This is the only bush that actually matters on this point. There's a little bush here on DX9 version to where it actually will cover up your view. But on DX8, you don't see it. But like I said, I will then start holding this angle until card is getting pretty close. I hold this to help my soldier out, whether the offensive soldier, the offensive heavy is going to be pushing, and just helping out my soldier that's most likely going to be playing on catwalk. As soon as cart starts getting farther and farther up, that's kind of when I start taking over, and that's like when I become cart duty. So once cart gets about under the bottom side of tracks or starts pushing up this first hill here, that's when I turn all of my focus to it. And I let my team know that too. So my team knows that when cart starts getting to around this point, that's when I take over. And I change my position of where I'm going to be watching it from. So I play a little bit more defensive. And generally you can kill scouts, NGs, pyros. There's a lot of stuff. The longer that you can hold this cart back and keep it rolling down, the better. And then generally your demo may also shoot some pipes. Or your soldier, your scout might be helping out. Scout might run through shithouse and jump up, or your demo might play around here. Soldier might turn and bomb, stuff like that. So that's kind of how I play third upward. That's, like I said, it's not necessarily the only way to play it, but I'm trying to give you guys lots of options. One cheeky angle, if you find yourself off respawn and they're pushing cart, you can play this angle and shoot them through this crack here. This is really, really strong. And a lot of people don't think to use this angle in bucket. Come down off respawn, you know that cart's getting close to being capped, you come here and now you get a couple kills. Obviously, if they've taken this corner, kind of can't do that. But this angle exists too. Well, that's kind of it for third. We'll go over offensive last now. Offensive last is probably the worst point in the game for sniper. I actually cannot think of a worse point for an offensive sniper to play. Maybe... yeah, I don't know. I think this is just the worst point in the game, by far, for sniper. On offense, if you play tracks, he will see your feet and he can 150 you. If you try to play the box, he will see your head before you can see him. Yeah, it's an impossible point. So, what I kind of recommend is your team kind of has to really work together to establishing you and getting you set up in these white halls here. Whether it's tiles, whether it's an upper, you know, whatever. Your team's goal is to push them out, have them play spawn, and then to kind of get your sniper up here and then let your sniper kind of take over. Until this point, you kind of are super, super limited in what you can do. So these are the couple of options. One, you can try playing Spiral, where you pray that somebody walks across this window. Generally, a lot of people are fairly smart and they don't walk across here. The other issue is, if you play Spiral, you might just die to the soldier that just like jumps and 2 rockets you. So it's kind of like do at your own risk. The other play that you can do that I really like to do, and this is often before Ubers, is I'll have my team kind of walk me, and then I'll slow peek up the back stairs. And I've been watching Muta, just watching you walk around. Nice burn. I'll walk up these back stairs, and generally sometimes you can catch like an AFK heavy that's sitting in this corner. You can catch a demo. You can catch a lot of people. And this is kind of like your one like ace in the hole, where like if you need to hit a shot, like this is where it's gonna come from. The only other thing is that you can kind of just play around cart. You can kind of bait stuff. You can kind of just be annoying. Listening for where sniper is gonna be kind of super important. You can kind of just be annoying, body shot. You know, just kind of, you know, do what you can. If they are playing close, if they're demos here, sometimes you can actually just post on this angle and hope that he swings into you. Like, you can post like all the way out here and just pray that he tries to like jiggle peek and that you can kill the demo. It's really strong. But like I said, your whole goal is to get up here. Once your team takes tiles control and white halls, whatever you call it, this is kind of where you're gonna make your money. If they try to go into the pub spot, you have great angles on it. You can kind of SVS here. I like to ignore SVS after I get up here, just because I think that I am at a better advantage point than the defensive sniper. I think my life, as soon as I get into these halls, instantly becomes worth way more than the defensive sniper. So I try to live at all costs. The only time that I'll try and maybe go for like an SVS is if you want to do kind of a cheeky angle. A lot of people don't do this. But if you peek through Harry Potter here, or whatever, bottom stairs, whatever people call this is really, really strong, because the enemy sniper, if he's playing near the gun or playing in pub, will always kind of be like looking up here because this is kind of the most obvious rotation. So you can kind of throw him off by peeking down this like lower angle. But yeah, once you get set up here, it's kind of just like up to you to figure out like what angles you like to play. I like to swing all the way to boxes for spawn camping angles on this and here. It means that you're pretty, you know, you're far away from your combo, but at the same time you're kind of pushing your limits, so it's up to you. Got that. But yeah, get up here, win the game for your team. Alright, let's talk about fourth, the defense now. Super, super important that your team gets out of third and gets into last. Your team needs to live here. Because fourth holds are incredibly strong. I mean, people get hard held and struggle to push this point all the time, so you need to make sure that you get your medic, your demo, your heavy, especially you a sniper, and that you guys get across. One thing that's kind of nice is if your NG is good, they can either sentry jump over here and set up an exit teleporter over here, or as they're walking out through third, that they come up through tiles and then drop an exit teleporter here. It's really nice. So talk to your NGs about trying to make sure that there's a teleporter here. It makes for really, really long holds and strong holds to become very, very easy because your heavy has an easy time getting back, your sniper has an easy time getting back, and it's really, really clutch. But once you're an upper, it kind of just comes down to you listening for one, where their sniper is, and two, what their uber percent is. So what I mean by that is, if I know that sniper's in spiral, I will never peek this angle. I'm gonna shoot his teammates. So whether you're shooting people in the ankle here, shooting the scout, shooting the NG, whether you're playing this angle, you don't really ever want to give the sniper a chance to kill you on upward last. If he kills you, it's not the end of the world, but like you're so much stronger when you're in white halls compared to when you're at spawn. You have a lot more oppressive angles you can use. Obviously you can go to boxes. Now this has been nerfed. You can no longer shoot through here like you can on like the pub version, like the basic upward or whatever. So don't try and fall for that. I don't really like to peek the stairs angle very much anymore, unless I know that we just completely wiped the team and I'm trying to get a little bit of an advantageous kill. There's no reason for you to kind of peek this aggro. You can, but it's not. I found that you don't have a ton of success. So I'm mostly just a cart killer, and then if I know that they're starting to get pressured or like their combo's pushing, generally I'll fall back to here. And once I fall back, because you can no longer get shot through here, this just becomes like my little safety zone. Like, if I know that they're pushing tiles from spiral, I'll just come here and I'll hold this corner, shoot a heavy, shoot a pyro. Maybe I'm jiggling, maybe I'm trying to figure out where sniper is. Maybe I can swing on him, post on him here or something. Let's say they take an Uber exchange up the stairs. There's a lot of times where like my team will wipe, actually, but I might actually just stay up here and get a little bit greedy, because I have the ability to just kind of like peek out here very, very safe, right? I can't be seen from a whole lot of angles, and I might kill like the medic, I might kill demo, and I might actually even be able to stay up here if they don't force me out enough, because their sniper can't see me. I'm completely protected. So just because your team might die up here, if you're confident enough in your ability, you don't necessarily need to like instantly fall down and rotate back to spawn. You can stay up here and kind of get greedy. Obviously, if they start pushing like soldier pyro and like you're on fire, you're getting hardcore pressured out, then you need to leave. But a lot of times I'll come here and I'll actually stay here a little bit longer than probably what I should, but you can get away with it because there's no real angles for you to die to. Also, if sniper's dead, you can shoot at stuff as it pushes the tiles and things like that, so. Other than that, it's kind of upward in a nutshell. Actually a little bit quicker than I thought I was gonna be, but if anyone has any questions, let me know. Actually, let me alt tab so that way I have Discord open and stuff. Let me split my screen. Do this, get rid of that. This time. But yeah, upward's it's not necessarily such a static map as people make it to be. I think that this map gives you a lot of options to succeed. A lot of fun plays that you can go for, Whether it's, you know, going for, you know, the shithouse play on third, or, you know, on defense, obviously you're one of the strongest classes in the game from any of the points, right? Like, first point you can get hard held by sniper on first, you can get hard held by sniper on second. You can kind of get hard held by sniper on third, but it's a little bit more difficult because the angles are less favorable, and like on last it can turn into an impenetrable fortress, so. What secondary would I recommend? Always run backpack. My A loadout is my #1 loadout. I think always running Cozy Camper is the play. I think Darwin's Danger Shield for EU players is okay, but the ability to swing when you have a full charge and not be flinched, especially on a point like first or a point like second, where you might get spammed, is just incredibly... It's just too important. I think SMG theory is terrible. If you run SMG, I do not think that it is good. Also, the passive regen that you get just means that you don't have to take as many heals. Like, taking heals really isn't the big purpose, but like let's say I'm on upward first, and I want to stand tall on playground. I just killed sniper. You know, as opposed to getting chip shotted the whole time by everyone in the game, I stand up here and now I can just kill anyone. I can peek out, like I can literally peek out into spam and drop your medic if I wanted to. So yeah, constantly. We're doing a sniper map review. A lot of people were asking for mentoring this week, so I decided to do it. But yeah, always run Cozy. I don't ever run Razorback. Darwin's is banned. SMG is bad. But yeah, always Cozy. Cozy is just OP. So, no one has any other questions. And I'm going to remember where this timestamp is, so then I can remember where to upload this and highlight this for YouTube. 143? I don't remember where I started this, so 143 25, whatever. Okay. And YouTube. Darwin's is banned because it's